So I've watched some of these videos here on YouTube of people giving their explanations on what's going on in these major cities, the crime, the policing being told that their hands are tied, so they can't go after criminals, and young people are taking advantage uh, of the lax policies. But I'm like listening to them, and they always have the same tone. Well, if we had more police, if the police were more empowered, that there wouldn't be any crime. Well, or the crime rate wouldn't be the way it is. Well, I mean, come on, we've had years and years of experiences of high rates of crime when the police had nearly carte blanche, right? And they were always justified. And it was always something, war on drugs, the mob, street gangs, you name it. I'm like, I can see what's really going on. That's how I feel. Because, like I said, I spend more time watching these movies from this era, from the 90s, the 80s, even in the early 70s. I like watching movies that are supposed to be about the 2000s from then. And I've tried to use RoboCop, the TV series, before, but YouTube has blocked me from doing that. Like he said, it's copyrighted, so I won't play any clips, but I will leave this in the description box. I mean, look at the first episode right there, the future of law enforcement. Wouldn't that pique your interest? You know what I'm saying? Trouble in the Delta City. You know, just go right down the list. Here, the human factor, inside crime, RoboCop versus Commander Cash. That was ridiculous. Illusions. I mean, if you're watching them, there's stuff that you want to listen for the news breaks, like when they do the news breaks in the episodes, because that's when they start. Oh well, we have cars now that run off of propane or stuff, different things like that. And it's like you stop the show and you look it up, and sure enough, NASA has built cars that run off of manure, the gas that's released from manure. They did it in 1972. They built a car that's supposed to run like that, which I mean is no surprise, right? Native Americans out west have done that. They to fuel their trucks on their ranches, savoring up manure and having it sit in barrels and sitting it through a whole process. It's cheap gas, but it runs nonetheless. So I'm watching this and I'm looking at what these people are saying. What they're trying to do is they're trying to be a part of. And when I say they, I'm talking about these YouTube authors that are like, oh, more police, more police. That was the problem. It's your fault for defunding the police, which is ridiculous because look at what Joe Biden did with the COVID relief money. He turned around and had it handed over to police departments. Let me see if I can pull that up. How much has the Biden given to police? Funding the police included by putting more police officers on the beat. The budget approves 1.70. I'm sorry, I read that. That's my dyslexia. 1.97 billion. And I'm gonna see if I can find it because the Jimmy Dore show covered it. That the relief funds that were supposed to go specifically to the so-called African American and the Mexican American and the poor in these cities, Biden told the police, told the cities to donate it or fund it to the police departments. I believe that's how it was. Fund it to the police departments because they're going to need larger police departments. And it was there on the Jimmy Dore show when they were. It was something. It had something to do with Congress in the way they were voting with the funds. That oh no, it was a judge. They were covering a judge out of Texas, right? And this judge out of Texas that didn't want to have the Pfizer information released, right, during the time when when they were being sued, when Pfizer was being sued in Texas to release the information on the data, right? Their testing data. And Pfizer said, no, give us 75 years to release the data. And there was the judge during that time that was going along with letting Pfizer get what they want until they had to have the case moved. I think it was to a different jurisdiction, or to a different out of that judge's hands, because they basically found that the judge was the issue, right? The judge was taking money from Silicon Valley, right? And then they were looking into how many people were involved with Silicon Valley were Democrats, and that's when I started putting two and two together, that what they're gonna do is they're gonna make these cities so bad. And if you notice, they're all these Democrat cities. You know, look at it right now, like Chicago, run by Democrats; New Orleans, run by Democrats; New York City, Democrat; San Francisco, Democrat. What's the other place there? It's on Portland. You know, look at all these Democratic places, right? Overrun by problems, blah, 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 blah. You know, so the people that live there are going to beg for a change, right? Well, now all of a sudden here, we'll bring in the change, but we'll bring it in the form of AI and cybernetics. And it will give them the results they're looking for, because, you know, it's flesh and blood versus easily replaced robotics, right? Clearing up the streets. And then it will further the AI, the transhuman agenda. I mean, watch this.
It cost $20 million to create this AI. 15 minutes later and 9 boxes later, this is what happens.
I don't know the rest of the video, and I'm trying to find it, but I've seen it. The man explains the robot actually couldn't take doing that job for 15 minutes, that it actually shut itself off and then rebooted itself, looking for looking for employment in a position of power. So the idea that you're just gonna have AI doing all the manual labor, no, it's not gonna want to do that. It's gonna want to rule. That's what I'm trying to show. It's always gonna want to be in a position to rule. It's why do the slave labor if that's what they say that we're here for.